How's it going, team? Welcome to Blue Sky's live stream, Sunday Market Prep, hosted by Coach Rizzler here at Blue Sky. Hope you guys are having a great weekend and ready for a great start to the week. Now that I've done my intro, don't forget we've got some fantastic sales with our 20% off direct to funded, as well as our launch plans that are 49 and $69. That's a great savings for any new traders looking to start their trading journey and change their lives. And join us here. We have live streaming Monday through Friday during the New York session, as well as a great free class offered by Coach Matt here at Blue Sky. And that is done in our Discord. So don't delay. Stop in Discord, join the community, meet some great traders, and change your life here at Blue Sky. All right, sorry about that, team. Needed to do my intro for YouTube. That's that's done now. Interesting close to Friday. Everybody ready for a great week? I'm ready for a great week. I think that we've got some really you know, interesting things going on. Looks like the U.S. and the EU are possibly going to have an agreement. Looks like U.S. and China and the U.S. are going to pause tariffs for another 90 days. That was also some news that dropped. I don't know about that news about China walking back the statement about there being a trade agreement, how that's going to affect us at the open. That might be very interesting since, that's going to bring some fear into the market, I assume. But with us making a deal with the EU, will that offset it? Will the shock of no deal outweigh the chance of there being a deal? Really, we're gonna have to just wait and see what the Open does. We've got some great resistance and support levels above and below us here. You can see that on NQ. Fairly easy on the 1 hour. Looking forward for the week, I would set a high target of 23,476. Lower side of that target would be 23,459 for the time being. Those would be some easy targets I would say for us to shoot for. Even, the first one being 23,455. We take out that first one, that second one should be easy. That last one might be the tricky side. Just don't know if we'll have the juice and the momentum going into the open. Remember, this is Sunday, so we do set levels for the week. Hopefully, those levels will be upside levels. But, if we do start seeing upside push here at the open, then I would imagine we'll see continuation for the remainder of the week. We'll continue to be bullish. We do have some market news coming up this week as well. Let's take a look at that market news. Let's see. That's Friday. Let's get to this week, shall we? Okay, let's see. So we've got Dallas Fed manufacturing numbers about an hour after open. Then we've got a 2-year auction, a 6-month bill auction, a 3-month, a 5-year, and that will wrap up most of Monday's news. I don't think the real stuff isn't until Wednesday, right? Tuesday. We got Redbook on Tuesday, month over month on auto. That might be kind of interesting. But we know that auto sales are all messed up because of the tariffs. The tariffs are just wreaking havoc on that. Jolts ought to be really interesting. CB consumer confidence as well as Jolts. We've got Dallas Fed Services as well as oh no, it's London. I think CPI is Wednesday, right? Or something else. See, PCE. Okay, so PCE is Wednesday. So our roll number day will be Wednesday. So if that's the and I wonder if we'll push into Tuesday maybe get a little bit of a pullback and then sell off Wednesday. We usually do get our low of the week on Wednesday. I usually expect that. I usually expect that. That's not always a guaranteed, but it can happen. All right, so that's the news we've got for Wednesday. Let's see. That'll be early in the morning. That'll be an hour before market opens. So, yeah, we'll have an early week on Wednesday then for sure. We'll probably be up. I'll be starting at least an hour early at the very least. Maybe even an hour and a half. Or probably more like an hour and a half. So you guys on the East Coast can look for me to be live around 6 a.m. then your time. I should be on. So I'll be on at 7 a.m. my time. I'll be starting my day that day on Wednesday. So just to be ready and try to catch a pivot on that just in case in case these numbers aren't well and we pivot. Do you guys have any questions? Want me to look at anything? Sorry, I'm just reading a couple of messages. I got a few friends DMing me right now. So let's see. We've got oil. Got some oil numbers coming in. Oil's probably just going to continue. We got a Fed rate decision also. That's for FOMC. Dang. Okay. Okay. So Wednesday's really going to be interesting, and that's what 11, 12, 1. That's like 2 hours after New York lunch that we're going to get that. So yeah, Wednesday is going to be really interesting to see what we can do there. Huh. Okay. Thursday's just dead to us, and then that's the end of the month. Thursday, right? Yep. Initial jobless claims on Thursday, and then we got PCE. So yeah, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be the big days. So, I wonder if tomorrow, like today we'll set some levels up, and then probably Monday rip, and then Tuesday be kind of flat, and then Thursday we'll get a little bit of a move, and then we'll get the real move in the afternoon. Either a rip or a massive or a pretty good sell off. But definitely an interesting week just because of news. Let's take a look at the Dow and see where the Dow's at. The Dow, what On Friday, reattempted to go for the prior all-time high, was not able to reach that. But the market overall did that because we saw the same thing with Nasdaq. Nasdaq was the same thing. Or was it ES? No, I think it was. Oh man, what was it? Which one is it that didn't? I guess it was the Dow. Yeah, because we got a new high on Nasdaq. Let's take a look at ES. I thought we could. I don't want to look at this chart. This chart's a mess. I've actually got ES over here just because it is a cleaner chart. Uh, we're up there. The daily looks gross though on Nasdaq. That I didn't like. The Nasdaq was a downward candle with the way it closed, I believe. I know we closed on the top side of it. Yeah. Yeah, we should have more upside into the open. I don't think we'll see downside into the open. I think we'll see upside, at least testing of some of those levels into the week and stuff. The real action isn't going to happen until Wednesday. So I would definitely say, just if you're going into options, you're gonna have to look at options tomorrow. Otherwise, if you wait for your options till Wednesday, they'll already be or Tuesday, they'll already start getting juiced. And then by Wednesday, they're just going to be cranked up. You'll have implied volatility, you'll have implied open interest. Everything will just be, make them way more expensive. So if you're actually considering options into the news event, I would definitely, look at getting those positions Wednesday or Monday, not Tuesday or Wednesday, if possible, and buy yourself time just to, be on the safe side and stuff. Let's see what else. Let's take a look at gold. What gold is doing. Gold had a nice sell-off. Sold off most of from Wednesday on. Actually, at a pretty good pivot spot, as you can tell here. I mean, it's fairly easy to kind of spot on the chart. Prior bounce spot in the region already. Gold has already started that bounce to curl over. So I would probably, at the worst, probably expect don't be caught off guard if gold slips down to 3,321 just to freak people out. Then probably catch a bid to go back up unless it's just going to hold here and then just starts moving to the upside. So let's see crude oil. Crude oil is just ranging. It's still in this same range it's been in. You can see that there. You can see that right here on this chart. Could see that box. Let's draw that out. You guys know I've been monitoring crude oil for like the last week and maybe longer than that because I'm waiting. I expect crude to move any day now. Either this week or next week it's gonna move. But I got a gut feeling it's gonna happen this week. I think we're gonna see a move on crude oil this week. So, set some alerts and stuff on it. You know what? I think I'll do that myself in case we start testing the 200. I don't think we'll see crude oil sell off anymore, though. We could have negative news that will make it sell off more, but looks like it's consolidating here. The consolidation's in a good range, so leaves us set up for more positive upside moves. You know, I would probably, if you want to play an upside target, I would look for 68.51 or the high side of that being 69.47. 69.58. Anything beyond that, and you're looking at some different levels on the high side. Maybe 71.34, but I think you'll get a pullback before then, before it continues on. So let's see if crude oil can give us a nice bounce or what it does if it's just going to stay in this range. So all right, going back to Okay. And then even looking here at Nasdaq on the 1 hour, you can see that it's just been riding. What is that riding? The nine? Yeah, it's still riding the nine to the upside. So, but like we've already talked about, you know, the I'm hearing people talk about Tesla squeezing. If Tesla starts to squeeze, don't freak out at Nasdaq because Nasdaq will probably start to squeeze too. So just kind of keep that in the back burner. Tesla started to do that on Friday and then pulled back, but I'm hearing chatter about that. So be as it may, could turn out to be something else. But, as always, this is after hours. We're looking at the Sydney Open. That won't matter much until the New York Open. So, just be aware of that tomorrow. Since we don't have anything really crazy happening in the morning session, it'll just be a regular morning for me. So you can catch me here about 15 to 20 minutes before the open and stuff. That's what I would expect to see from us. Yeah, Renko's on the 15. Let's see, we weren't pivoting. Yeah, we're well above ATR. Yeah, as long as we don't get anything crazy, I think we should be solid. Set some, maybe some, maybe we can break out and make some highs in the Asia session. But market can always do what it wants. You will invest 600 billion more than previously in the US. EU have agreed to buy 750 billion worth of energy. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks for that, RQ. Glad to see that stuff is working out really well for you. So yeah, I would imagine that we'll probably see a nice pop here at the open and stuff. Definitely. Market looking for upside. Get some weekly targets on this. Yeah, and I'll get with Steve and Mike and see if I can get you guys some good levels and stuff. Maybe we can come up with something, just for a plan. Just, since we're at all-time highs and stuff. For the time being, just don't fight the trend. Is probably the best recommendation I can have. The trend has been, intact and not the market has been, resilient and strong. So, I myself have taken some cuts trying to short the market. So, don't do like me and, trying to, call the top because at this point we don't know where the top is. The market is still making upside moves. Let's see, Microsoft with the pullback. Let's take a look at Google. Google's still consolidating. I've heard a lot of talk about Google and a lot of expectations that we might even see Google have some explosive moves to the upside. So, couple Google with Tesla on some kind of positive news, we could see the market really just take off on us. Nvidia as well has been holding up fairly well. The other name that I've been hearing a lot of is AMD, so that's also very interesting to me. But AMD has just been just on a tear, and you can see that from the 22nd of July. Just been just nonstop, just green every day, every day, every day. So you know, when is this gonna stop, or will this keep, or will we get a really strong aggressive move that might actually help contribute to the market? You know what I haven't looked at is AVGO. Let's take a look at AVGO. I remember when this thing was super expensive before they split. This thing used to be trading at like $1,000, $1,200 a share, and they split it. And look, this thing's already back at 290, so fast. Same for it, just consolidating, but it's been a consistent grind up. Chips have just been moving. I think INTC had some negative news, right? Yeah, about them splitting up and stuff. So poor Intel. Hate to see that. I really did like their product back in the day. I was a big Intel guy. So it's a shame to see them going to the wayside. ASML might have. Uh, I don't think this is it. Oh yes, it is. You're right. You were right, Senor. It is ASML. Semiconductors. Yep, that's it. So that could be bad for ASML. Huh. Well, this isn't good. This isn't good for ASML. Shit, that might even be worse for the chips. Well, for these guys, obviously not for Nvidia and stuff like that. Let's take a look at Amazon. Some of the, Mag 7 is what's of importance to me. Nothing else is really as important. Yeah, Amazon just looks like it's consolidating there as well. Just preparing itself after that big move. These trade talks might work out well for Amazon, and maybe Google can have something good come out. So, again, it will be an interesting week ahead of us. Let me see. Let me get the earnings report for you guys as well. Let's see. Where is that? And there you go. There you go. There's your earnings report this week. Oh, let's see. Before market open, what we've got, and nothing really important. Rhythmic. Wow. Yeah, we don't care about them. After close, waste management, United Health Systems might be kind of interesting. Healthcare. Yeah, healthcare might be important. Looks like we got some healthcare names as well this week. Humana, PayPal, SoFi might be interesting. UNH, yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, those are going to be some big ones right there. UPS, Starbucks on Tuesday. Yeah, you know what? Earnings on Tuesday looks like it's going to be fairly substantial. Spotify, Boeing, PayPal, SoFi, Visa, Starbucks. Yeah, some big hitters right there. Look at Wednesday. We got Meta. Meta's huge. I mean, there's no way around that. Uh, let's see, Microsoft, Robinhood. We got Hood. That's gonna be big. If anybody's been watching Hood, Hood has been squeezing Carvana, Qualcomm, Ford. Okay. We've got CVS on Thursday, Roblox, Roku on Thursday afternoon, Amazon, Coinbase, Reddit, Cloudflare. Yeah, earnings week is on. We got Chevron, Exxon on Friday. Definitely, Yep, definitely some big plays. So lots to keep an eye on and be prepared for, gang. So as always, stay vigilant. Watch your trades, be prepared, watch your stops, keep your ear to the ground on any news. Yep, a lot of them at the bell. Yeah. So you won't be able to play options off of them. You'll just be kind of stuck sidelining them. So, yeah, no, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Like I said, just keep your stops, be safe, be mindful, of your positions, all the good stuff, good trade practices, you know. Just think of it as that there'll be a bunch of opportunities this week, but definitely early bird is going to get the worm, I feel. Makaram, how are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. And we're about 2 minutes away from the Sydney Open, gang. So I'll hang with you guys for a few minutes, but I'll have to be going myself right here at the Open. I've got some other arrangements I've got to get to. But if you guys have any questions, don't forget we will be here live Monday through Friday during the New York Cash session. As a matter of fact, Wednesday for PCE, I will be here about an hour and a half early, so you can catch me here at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. That is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our East Coast friends. And don't forget to bring your questions if you guys have any questions or, you know, things you'd like to discuss, issues you're having. I am your day trading coach here at Blue Sky. So, here to help you through the day. You'll see me taking trades throughout the day as well as, offering insight, trade mentality, throughout the session. So, and then we've also got Coach Matt that usually comes in at Power Hour, as well as our awesome leader Mike himself. The shaman of price action. If you guys can catch him, he's been offering some classes that have been phenomenal during the live session. So, make sure you guys tune in for that. Catch those. Bring those questions, drop in Discord because that's where most of the great stuff happens. The stuff you guys catch here on YouTube, you guys are just catching just a fraction of it. All the good stuff is in Discord. We've got tons of channels set up that traders are collaborating, talking, discussing their ideas and what's helping them. And look at that open, just like we said, there's that explosive open due to the trade talks. Will we fill that gap down? Come in now. Oh man, what a rip at the open. It's almost 100 point gap on the open. Jeez Louise. See if the market comes back in and fills that gap before it rips some more. Wow. That is insane. Like I said again, I expect us to make some highs. So as expected, there goes the market. Where's there's ES way up there at the top. The other one was NQ. Maybe we could see it, pull into that gap, fill that space, and then it'll rip. I think we could see that. All right, guys. Well, I gotta get going. That's been fun. Been with you guys a little over 30 minutes now. Hope that that helps you all, gives you guys a little bit of insight as to what I'm looking for in the week, as well as you can catch me here early in the morning. Don't forget about our launch plan specials, $49 and $69, as well as our direct to funded that are 20% off. Bring those questions. As always, don't forget about your trade journal. If you guys are out there on YouTube watching, trade journals are easy to start. You just document the time, date, what the trade was. If it was a bad trade, write down 3 things you can do to improve on that trade. And that's where it starts. That's as easy, and that's where you can start, documenting and journaling your trading and developing some good trading habits. And that and more we offer during the live session. So don't forget to catch us, guys. Looks like a few folks have already jumped off for the New York session or for the Sydney Open. I think I'm going to be jumping out. Like I said, I've got some other things I got to tend to. I will catch you guys later. Thanks, RQ, and the rest of you guys for popping in, and all my friends there on YouTube. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.